Okay, I think it's starting. Hey
Are you sure?
guys.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yes. I'm Mary. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah. Hi guys. My name's Barry, a fellow INFJ, and I'm here with Emily, also a fellow INFJ. But we don't have to say that. You can see it for yourself in our expressions and how we speak and function. Um, I've been doing INFJ stuff online, YouTube, hangouts like this, and on the forums for about 5+ years now. I've kind of like stopped in the last year. But basically, it was focused on the cognitive functions, development experiences like relationships, and just general like things to think about with life, you know. And I'm here with Emily, also a fellow YouTuber and content creator, and we're just gonna have a chat and see where it goes, really. And yeah, Emily, are you?
Um,
I
we
don't. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the guy who's like, what's it called? Doing the interview. You know
Oh
what I mean?
no,
Well,
no, no,
yeah, yeah.
no. Oh, sorry, my bangs are crazy.
You're fine. You're
I know,
fine.
I know. Okay, so we've talked quite a bit, especially throughout this past year. Um, and you even knew me, well, you knew before I went to Seattle, like when I was first looking at places and stuff, and we kind
Yep.
of had a few chats. Um, One of the first things I want to ask, and we kind of have talked about this, is I just want to dive into it right now, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah. No problem. It's always the best. Do it. Do it directly. You know, it's always the best.
just dive in there.
Yeah, just go in.
What? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's one thing I love about INFJ and like intuitors in general is that we just dive straight into things rather than, oh, the weather's nice. This chicken for breakfast tastes nice, rather than the normal everyday stuff. It's just get straight into the deep topics. You know, I
Well,
love that.
if we want to get really into the deep topics, I got.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm eating sweet potato fries.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we can talk about like that casually, like everyone does, everyday conversation, if you
Yeah,
want.
super.
Oh
um,
my, oh yeah, yeah.
so I wanted to. We were talking about this, but I want to talk about what would you say, just kind of on the surface, is the best thing you found from the INFJ community, and what is the worst thing you found?
Very good question. That's a really good way to put it. What's the best thing? Obviously, the best thing is meeting like-minded people, and I think that's what gets people into it in the first place. It's the same for myself,
Yeah.
and it's just meeting people that feel like home. You know, you can say that in a spiritual sense, you can say that in a personality sense, whatever. It's just connecting with people who you get and who get you. And for most of our lives, when you first find about INFJ, you think to yourself, I'm no longer crazy. I'm no longer weird and I'm just uncommon. You know, I don't want to say rare because a lot of people go, "Oh, I'm rare, I'm special, I'm amazing." And it's not about that. It's about you're kind of uncommon, but that's okay because everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and it's just meeting other people who get you and building up a family, really. And kind of like, oh, how are you? Are you all right? You know?
Sorry, I'm
Talking
trying
of family,
to interrupt you, but
there we go.
probably
Yeah.
wasn't a good idea to have these friends.
No, no, it's fine. It's natural, you know.
Keep on going.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the really good aspect of it. It's talking just like how we're talking and how we've known each other online, and hopefully one day we can like hang out in real life.
Yeah.
Um, that's something which I love about the INFJ community is that for the past 5 years, I mean, maybe a few people on the forums know both of us. I'm sure they do, you know, but that's the really exciting thing. Meeting people online, speaking to them like now, hi, how are you, all that kind of stuff, but also deep topics, and also meeting them in real life and kind of seeing how real that is. And obviously, when you meet someone in real life, there's good and bad aspects of that. I won't go too much into it, but everyone's human, you know? And it's just connection. I would say that's really just the thing that comes back again and again. because we're an uncommon type, connection means everything, whether it's like an acquaintanceship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something more. It's just connecting with people, and I would say that that goes into other topics as well. So that's the positive aspect of it. For yourself, is that also the same, or is there anything else that you feel I've missed with that?
I think you did a really good job of explaining it. I when I was talking to Nolan in his interview, I
Uh-huh.
was talking about how I felt really misunderstood in high school
Yeah,
and stuff. And I think it is a big thing, especially to realize that I'm not, yeah, like you said, I'm not crazy. I'm just uncommon.
yeah, yeah.
But maybe I am crazy.
Well, all the best people are, so it doesn't matter, you know? Like that's something I've always said to other fellow INFJs, but not INFJs, just intuitives in general. The sensors, and I'm not like hating on sensors. Both of my parents are sensors. This is why I have a really developed SE. But what I really love is that society says, oh, you have to be like this, you have to be a number, all that kind of stuff, a sheep, all that stuff. Which is fine to a degree if you want to like conform. And I'm not saying like don't conform. Obviously, you need to some degree. But it's what's most important is to be yourself. To be who you are. And when you grow up in school and society, it says you have to be like this. Oh, you think differently. You're weird. You're strange. There's something wrong with you. No, you're not. The system is the thing that's wrong. You know. So when you meet people like what we're doing now, and we're talking, it's okay. I think the dog is also wanting to be part of the conversation.
Well, also, I'm trying to. I was really bad last time, and I don't know if anybody's commented anything on the
That's all
live stream,
right.
but I want to see um, if any.
Also, guys, whoever's watching, because we'll probably be posting this on the forums and on YouTube. This goes to show that no one's perfect. Like I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, and it's just kind of like that's the beauty of life is that it's just kind of like natural, and it's just kind of like even in its kind of like unsureties,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of people while you're searching the comments, I'm just talking over. That's what I'm doing. Sometimes people can like look at the INFJ as a kind of ideal and go, "Oh, they're perfect." We're not perfect. Grow up. That's an idea. An idea is either true or false. So get rid of these ideas because what happens if you're wrong? That we're not perfect and we're not as much as you might want that. We're not God, are we? Um, well, because you're rare, people go, "Oh, they're like unicorns," which may be in a way, but we're human beings, you know. And that's also the bad side of it, because some people can go, oh, they're rare and special. I want to be rare and special. I want to wear a face mask, and oh, if I be like this, therefore I'm special. It's kind of like, it's like having a checklist. If you want to be rare and special, be this, and this. Okay, if I just copy that, I will be it. No, you'll just be someone who's copying it. You won't be someone who's naturally embodying it. It's like the whole point of it is if this is naturally who you are, brilliant. If you're not naturally like that, you're just copying it and it's not really like genuine, so you have to be so careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
How's
Just
the comment section?
a quick interruption. They want to know where you're from and just like something like tell them where you are right now and stuff. And
Okay, brilliant. Well, I don't want to like talk about myself too much. It's not about me. It's about both of us. It is.
so,
Are you sure that your fans don't want to know more about you?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I wouldn't call them fans.
I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm
No.
I'm playing with. I know. I'm playing with the concept of it. Yeah, I'm joking. Because you're allowed to have a bit of fun with it, Um, I'm originally from England. I'm British, as you can hear. If you couldn't hear it, it's British, and we have completely different accents, so that should be already a clue. I'm from England, and I've recently moved to the Philippines, where I'm doing an ecotourism spiritual resort. It's called the Divine Sanctuary, and there's a White Star logo. Have a look at it. I'm not going to say any more. If anyone is interested, it will be open for people to work, live, and visit in the future. So I know that that's a very INFJ orientated project, so won't say any more. I'm not here to promote that. But I've basically, I used to be part of the system, finished my course in landscape architecture. During my university time, I did INFJ videos, 2 books also, and which I'm just going to humbly get past that part as well. And I really, this is a thing which I'm sure maybe a lot of you are. It's kind of off topic, but it is connected. The most important thing is to listen to your heart. And I know as cliche as that sounds, it's really true, because your heart is really the intuitive part of you. Because, for example, if you're in the middle of a forest and you feel that there's danger, you have instinct. There's no logic there. It's something that you feel. In the same way, because it's like intuitive and it's instinct and it's heartfelt, listen to your heart. Your brain will say, do this, do that, work here, go there, do the normal stuff, pay your taxes, get a family. But your heart might say, I want to be an artist and I want to make it big. Go for that. Because if it is truly for you, everything will be provided. You know? I gave up everything to do this project that I'm doing. And everything's been fine. My brain was saying, you're crazy, you're an idiot, you know? Why aren't you just being normal like everyone else? And my heart said, ignore him. Just do, you know, you'll be fine. And it was. And I think that's one of the glories about not just INFJ, but being intuitive, is that you get a feeling for something and you don't know why, but you feel it'll be okay and you go for it and it ends up being okay. That's the beauty of intuition, you know, and you should be grateful for that, because a lot of people who are sensors don't have that, you know, so always don't count yourself lucky, but just always appreciate what you have, you know. And yeah.
What personality types are your parents?
ISTJ and ISFP. And what's really lovely is that they loved me for who I was, and they never tried to change me. And, you know, as weird as I might have been to them and as common as I might have been, and kind of like, this is not a normal kid, but we still love him, you know? That's the most important thing, you know, is that aspect, you know? My father really taught me about logic and grounding, obviously ISTJ, and my mother really taught me about emotions and nurturing. So it really helped me to understand what thinking and feeling really is, and both of them are senses. I was always floating with an abstract concept, and they would always say, "Oh, that's nice. Come and have some food." You know, it's like normal stuff. It's like I'd be talking to them about, "Oh, don't you think like the universe? Don't you think like the you know, don't you think God? All these kind of things is really interesting." And they go, "Yeah, that's lovely. Let's come and have breakfast. Or do you want to go out in the garden?" And I'd be like, "You're not answering my question, but that's okay." Because they enjoy the simplicity of it, and in a way that's so beautiful, because that shows the huge range of people, from the very simple to the very complicated to the very grounded to the very abstract and floating. That's life, isn't it? It's all the personality types, and it's enjoying every part of it, whether it's something very, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 2, 4, 80, 2000, whatever, however you think. You know, it's loving and appreciating every part of it, you know?
Yeah. This is a good question. I don't know if you really. Sorry, I need to plug in my laptop.
Yeah, it's cool. Also, guys, I'm sorry if I like go off on one, and but you can see that this is like how INFJs are. You kind of go off on a thought, and then you can like just, okay, I've expanded really far. Let's go back to the roots again.
Well, there's a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a good amount of INFJs watching right now.
Okay, cool.
Just in the comments. So we just got a question. what do you think about the popular INFJ YouTubers? I don't know if you really watch. Do you watch?
I do.
YouTubers?
I watch from time to time to see how the stream is going. I would say 4 years ago.
Why does it keep on going back and forth to me? I'm not saying. I don't get away from me.
Is your dog there? Because maybe the breathing is being picked up.
He's playing around with a toy on the ground.
Maybe that's why.
Here, let
anyway.
me take his collar off so he doesn't make noise.
Okay, cool.
Henry, hello. Say hello.
Hi. Welcome to the INFJ chat.
Henry was
that's very
named
cute.
after my British great uncle.
Really? That's relevant.
So, it all
So
ties
he's a Brit
in.
by heart. Yes. Everything's connected.
So what do you think about them?
I'd say 4 years ago it was really good. And I don't say that as an old man. Oh, it used to be better in the old days. But I mean it like when INFJ first started, just
Oh my
just
God.
Myers-Briggs in general.
I don't know what's wrong. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with the stream. I'm not like.
Okay.
Here, let me. Sorry, guys. Whoa.
This is the part where there's an intermission, and then it says technical difficulties.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Let's pray it doesn't do it.
I'm gonna sit on the ground so there's no movement.
Okay. 4 years ago it was more focused on taking a test, finding out who you are, seeing if it felt right, and learning about the cognitive functions. And now, 5 years later, it's more like there are articles on Spiritual or Psychological Today website where are you the rarest person? Are you a rarest kind of person in the world? Are you one of the 1%? If you have one of these 15 traits, you're rare and you're special and you're amazing. Which is like if you're somebody who doesn't know who they are, or somebody who might be quite ego-orientated, you'll cling to that. And it's just an idea. It's like wearing a mask. And none of them would take the test. And then you say, have you taken the Myers-Briggs test? And they'll go, what's that? And you'll be like, what? How are you saying that you're an INFJ when you haven't even taken the test? And then they would say, oh, I've seen this article on the website somewhere, and I connect with all of it. And I would say to them, an idea is either true or false. What happens if you're wrong? And
Sorry. It keeps on doing it, and it's so. I actually don't think it's. I mean, Henry's moving right now, but I don't think it is.
fine.
I don't think it is from. I don't know what's going on. And then Pumpkin came in the room and he was meowing.
Do you know what's really nice? It takes the edge off. Because the topics that we're talking might be quite deep and serious for some people. So it acts as a distraction. And it's weird because it seems like they're doing it on purpose.
Back, people are gonna be like, "Why does it keep on jumping?"
But really, the most important thing is that if you haven't taken the Myers-Briggs test, type in Myers-Briggs.
I'm gonna put on headphones because that's what people are saying to do.
Okay. Oh yeah, good idea, guys. So if you haven't taken the Myers-Briggs test, take the Myers-Briggs test. It's a friendly suggestion. MBTI, letter M, letter B, letter T, letter I, and take it for yourself, be honest, and see what the result is. And if you don't get a result that is INFJ, don't be angry with that because maybe you were mistyped. Isn't it better to be genuinely who you are rather than an idea? This is why a lot of people, they read an article like that, never take the Myers-Briggs test. It's so good because you can't hear him anymore, and he's right next to you making noise. It's really it's quite funny to see it. Um, just be honest to yourselves and find out really what's true. Because if you're clinging to an idea in a mask, it's not real, and you're never going to grow because you're not really truly connecting to who you are. You're connecting to an idea, which a lot of people on the INFJ forums do, and a lot of Myers-Briggs videos now aren't even about Myers-Briggs. It's basically like there's one person, I won't name him, his name begins with F. He's making a lot of YouTube videos at the moment. He's allowed
I
to.
think
He
we
can
all
do
know
it.
who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we all know
Are you
who it
kidding?
is. We all know who it is. He begins with F, and he's basically just seen an article, and he's like, "Hi, this video is about me, 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 me." And he doesn't talk about anything about INFJ, and he's really not an INFJ. And if you think he is, my God, that's not what it's about.
What type do you think he is? Do you think
Oh
he's
my God, I don't know. He is, I don't know, his personality disorders of some kind, or just ego. It's something. I don't know. I don't want to think about it because
That's
it's.
interesting. I'm not gonna call out. I mean, you know who you are watching this, but
Oh,
I've actually had a conversation with a couple of people about him. I like him, but I mean, he definitely knows what he's doing. I've interacted with him a few times. I've even asked him if he wanted to do an interview, but I don't think he really wants to
yeah.
because he's very concerned. I mean, hey, okay, I'm just gonna say it. We all know who it is, Frank. Hey,
Yeah, we
Frank.
all know who it is. Yeah.
If you're watching this, I don't, I wouldn't say that he's not an INFJ, but oh my gosh, Henry. But yeah, this is a very controversial video now. We're calling
Yeah.
out the most popular INFJ YouTuber at the moment, or at least I think he is INFJ. But anyways, I like his videos, but he definitely knows what he's doing. It's very calculated. He
That's what I. Oh my God. But
it's
you, but you see, you have to be so careful, guys, with this stuff. Whether it's true or false, I'm not saying anything. But somebody can learn about something so well and know to say the say, to walk the walk, and still not be it. So always be so careful because people can pretend. I'm not saying he's doing that. I would have said that otherwise. But I'm just saying
yeah,
be careful because there are people who do that. I had dealt with people 4 years ago, still today, where it's all a mask, it's all a presentation, and it's all I've learned about this stuff. Therefore, I can pretend, and people can do that whether it's about Myers-Briggs, whatever it is. People do that in all aspects of life. So just be careful because things aren't always what they seem, and that's it. That's really, I guess, the moral of it. We can say he is or he isn't, and we can say that for anyone. You can say it with me if you want. You can say it with Emily. It's all judgments. But at the end of the day, if you see it's genuine, you can feel it, and you can feel that it's not acted and it's not calculated and performed. So think about it that way. And that goes for life. Because I don't want it to be a controversial video. It's not about pointing fingers, but it's about bringing awareness. That's it. It's the whole reason
well,
we started this video.
yeah, I agree. I don't
You
know.
know,
I'm kind of. I have heard people say this. Henry, stop. Um,
when you hear a collective, it makes you wonder. That's all.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, okay. I feel like it's not going to be. I don't think it's controversial. Again,
It's not
hey Frank
controversial
James, if
because
you're
we're not
watching.
it's not controversial because we're not pointing fingers. We're just basically talking about it, and it's not about one person. It's about people in general. And going back to what we were saying,
Yeah.
it's about being genuine and not lying to yourselves, and that goes for anything. That goes for anything. Always be yourself. Always be genuine. And if you don't know who you are, don't fake it. You know, uh, I've met people in real life doing that, and it's not about personality either. It's just being yourself and not clinging to an idea. I've met that with aunties and uncles too. You know, some people, they become a mechanic and they go, I'm a mechanic. This is everything that I am. And then I say to them, that wasn't what you were when you were 5. You were you before you were a mechanic. Don't cling to a title. you know? Because the most
Yeah.
important thing is you. If you know who that is, because some people forget and they cling to things, you know?
I would like to go back to what you talked about with the test. I've
Yeah,
mentioned this before, but I've almost always mistyped as an ENFJ, and I'm not an ENFJ. I would say, I mean, I was kind of lying to myself on the test. I mean, not really. It was the fact that I love people, and so that kind of made me more of an extrovert. On the
yeah.
test, but I wouldn't say that the test is always accurate, but I definitely think it's a good place to start,
Hmm.
at least. I'm not saying that everybody that says like that doesn't that let's say doesn't get INFJ isn't an INFJ. They
Yes,
could
of
have
course.
mistyped. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of people, like you were saying, a lot of people do mistype, and they'll get the result, maybe even get the result INFJ, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm an INFJ, woohoo!" I mean,
Yeah,
I could take the test and get any result at this point because I know exactly what they're asking. But
yeah.
yeah,
It comes back to that genuine aspect, and it's just kind of like, don't think too much, just do what you feel naturally, and answer it that way. And it's tricky because it's completely individual and everyone's different. So somebody will answer the test in a different way and think about it in a different way. Somebody might spend an hour thinking about the questions and over calculating and over analyzing it. Another person might just completely do it naturally and press, 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 press. Everyone's different. So because of that, I don't know. Obviously, the most natural way for you is a reflection of you. Therefore, just do it how you feel you need to do it, and you'll get the most natural result because the only person that's you is you. You know, so that's it really.
yeah,
And it's so difficult. It's so difficult. I love the dogs popping up and down again. It's one of those things where it's really kind of like it either is or it isn't. You know, and it's like most things. It's either true or not. And if it doesn't feel right, it would be something to consider to do it again. You know?
yeah. What would you say? I've asked this. I mean, I've talked about this before. How would you say is the best course of action for a lot of INFJs in order to develop themselves?
Oh, well, firstly, just YouTube videos as well. YouTube videos which are talking about development rather than me, me, me. Um, it's just talking with people like what we're doing, um, watching videos, reading articles, and also asking people that you trust in real life, like friends, family, you know, loved ones, and asking them about their opinions or their views and how they think you can succeed by being yourself, because obviously those people know you a lot more and love you. You know, they can support you with that. And also, like I said, INFJ videos, both of us are doing content. There's lots of other content as well online. And another person I wanted to suggest is INFJ Wences, where she talks about the cognitive functions. She's absolutely amazing. You know, doesn't focus too much on the rare and special aspect and the
Well,
uncommon
she
aspect of
also talks
INFJ.
about socionics too, which I
It's
really like.
yes, it's more so kind of like on how you think, how you function, and development. And both of us know her quite well, and she's really good. So INFJ Wentz is great for development. And if you guys are looking for a place to start, I would suggest there, as well as our videos as well. But obviously, I'm going to say that obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you see, I
Winston
didn't
is
put
amazing.
myself first. I didn't put myself first. That's the main thing.
Yeah. I would also suggest Michael Pierce if you guys haven't checked him out before. He's awesome. Um, I would say Wences and Michael Pierce are probably the biggest INFJ YouTubers that I really admire.
Yes.
Besides you, of course.
Oh, don't say that. Stop, stop. But well, yeah, the same goes for you. But you see, it's like, it's just it's just sharing experiences and being real, you know. Um, yeah, that's I think that's like a huge, well, it is a huge part of being INFJ is really developing yourself because school, society, and people really put you down. So it's really kind of picking yourself back up and, you know, being strong within yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And both of the people we've suggested are great for that. So please have a look at them. Because they're really like self-made people who have picked themselves back up, you know, and helping to explain it in a way that you guys can understand and get the concept simply so that you can just go out and do them yourself, you know.
Well, I'll link their channels in the description as well once this is over. Something that you just talked about, and I know you talked about this on your channel, or you have a video about this because I watched it a few years ago. Is I think it was something about your childhood and kind of like how you were as a child. Would you like to describe?
Oh yeah. Um, I've also I've written a book on Amazon about this if anyone's interested. It's called or just type in Barracuda into Amazon and it's the Black Book. I can't remember the title because I have two titles that are similar. But it's in there. But basically I don't want to say that this is the same for all INFJs, but maybe it is. Very difficult because again, society wants you to be a certain way, and when you're very different and uncommon, you have a lot against you, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things as well is that I don't know, it's just like normal childhood, I would say for everyone. It's the bullying came in mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you know. Being called weird, having the teachers say, "Oh, you think differently. You need to think like this." It's like kind of being put into a box. And I would say INFJs are very connected to their imagination. They're very connected to emotion, heartfelt things, which aren't logic, which is what school wants you to be. School wants you to be logical and normal. But rather than teaching you to be who you are and to develop that part, school wants you to be, you have to be like this, which is wrong because it's basically saying this is the idea that we want you to be like this. And it was so difficult because a lot of people, most of the population are sensors, you know, and if you guys don't know what we're talking about with that, look up again Myers-Briggs, MBTI, cognitive functions, and you will see the percentages of all the 16 personality types, and sensors are the vast majority. And because of that, fortunately and unfortunately, because you can learn from everyone, you're outnumbered, and because of that, you know, you can be bullied, picked on, and think that there's something wrong with you until people find about INFJ, you know, and other people who get it. So that's it, really. Obviously, I can go way into that, but it doesn't really get any better until really you start picking yourself back up, understanding who you are, which is, again, it's the start of this video. It's when people find about INFJ and connect with others like yourselves. And you can, and it's very, it's nice. It's nice because it's the dog has put me off because I'm thinking about the dog now.
You are so annoying. I love you, but you're so annoying.
Oh,
I'm just like watching from the couch. Oh, also, sorry to interrupt again.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
There's some confusion in the comments. So his username is Barracuda 57, and he goes by Barracuda. But that's not his real name. But he
alias.
So. But we do say Barracuda. We don't say Barracuda or whatever.
It's okay. That's whatever you guys want. Oh yeah. There is the difference with that as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's it really. Obviously, I can just spiral into that and it doesn't get any better, but it's when you start finding out who you are and connecting with people that get you, that goes for anything. That's when it starts to get better because you start to know who you are because you click with people who are more connected to you, rather than people judging you, pointing fingers, and you know, all those things.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just kind of
It's okay.
unfortunately I guess I could have locked him up, but I feel bad. I usually take him for a walk, so
Okay. Oh, that's why he really wants to walk.
yeah, he gets walked twice. It's like an hour-long walk for each walk. So like 2 hours a day he goes walking.
He's
And then he
basically
still
he's
has
he's, ba-
energy.
he's basically saying you should be walking me, not talking.
Yeah. He wants me to throw
Anyway,
the
it's all right.
ball constantly. Um, well, I guess I'll turn the table on you just for the moment. I did it to Nolan, so I'm going to do it to you. Um,
Okay.
what question do you have for me at the moment? Or do you, I mean,
What
just to put you on the spot?
I will again because this is something I like. I people who know me quite well. I mirror things. So I guess that's all INFJs do. That is they become a mirror. So I'll mirror everything back. But just two things, but they are quite broad. Um, what do you think are the positive aspects about INFJ? Uh, just in general, on like for yourself, online, offline, and the negative aspects. Because I know I've covered stuff, but obviously there might be things that I've missed because I'm not perfect. So I was interested to know what you thought on those things.
Um, so partly why I've had this channel since 2012. I've had Pakoki, the username, for a while.
Oh,
Because
that's
it's
good. I finally know how you say it.
yeah,
That's good.
everybody, it's Pakoki. For anybody
Fukoki.
that didn't know how to pronounce it, it's pumpkin. So I made it up. I was playing My Sims. It was a
Oh.
Wii game.
Hmm.
Where we had a little town, and then it's pumpkin, cocoa, cookie, because those were the animals I had in 8th grade. And that's when I made it. But anyways, um, I started the channel because I started posting about INFJ stuff because I did see that there was a lot of misconceptions, and I mean just in MBTI and typology in general, it's kind of a circle jerk for some people. And I definitely do think that certain people do take advantage of being INFJ.
Well, some people, yeah,
And I
people
never,
cling to it and wear masks. It's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. Yeah, I never want to be that way. I'm definitely gonna, in the future, my channel is gonna have more stuff than just like typology and stuff. But, um, anyways, I like the community of the people that actually. It doesn't matter if they're INFJ or not. Um, People that are very honest with themselves, just like you said, and they really put in the work to study the cognitive functions, interacting with people. It doesn't matter what type they are, except for ESTJs. I'm just kidding, but seriously, I don't. But so if you're an ESTJ and you're watching this, okay.
One of my best friends, one of my best friends is an ESTJ, so there are good ones. I
Really?
will say that. I will say that. Yeah,
Really?
there are good ones. I mean, because there's good and bad in everything.
I'm not saying they're bad. I just
No, no, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just not. I mean, as a stereotype, I know a lot of people think that. So I'm just saying that
no.
just for
I'm not.
everyone.
It's just more of a cognitive thing for me. It's not really their
Yeah.
stereotype. Um, but yeah, um, I guess that's kind of hard for me to answer. I really like when people are authentic. I know we talked about a certain YouTuber. I won't say his name again, but even though anybody watching this
But
knows who he is,
it
but
doesn't matter if he. It doesn't matter because again, at the end of the day, whatever the topic is, whoever the topic's on, this goes for anything. An idea is either true or false. So at the end of the day, as long as it's genuine,
Yeah.
whether it's science, art, or personality. That's the main thing, as long as it's genuine.
Well,
You
for
know?
him, I don't really look at his channel as being an INFJ. I mean, he may be an INFJ, and I think he is. He actually reminds me, and I've talked about this before with a couple of people, but he kind of reminds me of how I was like a few years ago, which is interesting because he's 30, so he's a good amount older than us. By the way,
You
Barry and I are the
you
same age, like literally
oh really?
within days of each
Oh
other.
yeah, we are. That's oh yes, because we're both Leos also. If that
Yes,
means
I'm a little
anything
bit
to anyone.
older.
Okay, are you really? Anyway,
Yeah, my
what's
birthday's in
what's
July.
okay? Well, anyway, what's age? You know, that's a concept
Yeah,
as well.
but anyways,
Um,
sorry.
sorry. Going back a little bit to what you were saying as well. You've also got to consider that everyone has different upbringings, everyone has different lives, everyone has different experiences. And I know it as easy as it is to judge people, judge me, people judge you, people judge everyone, and that's part of having an opinion, you know.
Yeah,
Um, the main thing is that you see what the reality is as much as we can judge people. That's the whole point of being a judger is that you judge people. You know, at the end of the day, what's important is to see what's real because an idea is either true or false. And you also have to consider, you have to be a bit careful. And I don't take back what I've said, but at the same time, I will be a bit careful and a bit conscientious to the fact that people have different upbringings, different lives, different experiences, and some people have been through hell. So who are we to judge? You
yeah,
know, that's the main thing. And that goes for anyone again. It goes for anyone as much as a lot of people point fingers at others, especially in the forums, people just type fight all the time, and that's not what it should be about. You have to consider that some people have been through crap, and at the end of the day, as long as it's heartfelt, it's level, and it's decent like this, that's the main thing. You know.
yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is, regardless of whether he's an INFJ or not, I don't look at his channel as like an INFJ. Or like even a typology channel of like, let me try to learn typology from him because he views
Everyone
it in
does
my,
everyone does different things, don't they? So it's like
yeah,
people can do what they
exactly.
want, but
Um,
at the same time, just be careful and always broaden your horizons because there are so many other channels as well. Sometimes people
yeah,
can just be focused on my channel or your channel or the channel of Wences or the channel of the other person who will be linked later. It's always good to broaden your horizons. Even in politics, someone can be so clinging to one politic and one way of, being that they go, oh, I'm not any of these things. I don't care about politics. But for example, um, oh, I'm a Democrat. I hate Republicans. Well, if you're not going to research anything about being Republican, you're being biased, aren't you? In the same way, if you're only looking at one channel, that's bias because what happens if you're missing out on information elsewhere? You're limiting yourself. So that's another thing people do. You got to be a bit careful.
yeah. Sorry. um, yeah, no, and I was sorry. I was just gonna say that I'm not. I mean, neither of us are trying to call Frank out. Um,
Well,
and
we keep going back to the topic, and we don't
no,
need
I
to.
mean, I definitely think we need to address this. I think
Okay.
I do want to say this. If you're looking for information about typology, I wouldn't necessarily, and I'm not like, no offense, I just wouldn't go to his channel about typology. I just
Mm,
like watching his videos,
yeah.
just because I do understand it's coming from a theatrical side. But as far as the fact that it's kind of labeled as INFJ, that's kind of concerning because I don't think,
Yeah, a lot of people will focus on just his channel and not look at anyone else's, and that's where the bias comes in,
yeah, I
because
mean,
people
he
aren't
doesn't really
people
know the
aren't
cognitive
broadening their
functions as
horizons.
much.
I know, which is
And I'm,
kind of
I'm not
important.
trying to be like Frank. If you're watching
We're
this, I'm
not,
not trying to be
yeah,
mean. It's just he. I mean, he even said it
broaden
in
your
one of his videos.
broad.
He
I
will.
love as long as he's honest about what he does. That's the main thing. But
Yeah.
just to if you're watching solely me, don't watch solely me, watch other people. If you're watching solely Emily, watch other people. If you're watching solely Frank, watch other people. That's what it comes down to. If you don't broaden your horizons, you're limiting yourself, and there's bias there, you know? Also watch Wences and who's the other guy?
Michael Pierce.
Michael Pierce, yes. You know, don't limit yourself because then you'll just be narrow-minded. And what happens if you're wrong because you haven't got all the information, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, this kind of I'm reading the comments right now. Yeah, again,
Okay.
I think he is an INFJ. Just going back to that. But
Okay.
anyways, so something that was brought up, and he brings up in. I'm sorry to talk about this again, but I think
No,
you
whatever.
kind of mentioned it. Is mental illness, and I'm not saying. I mean, he has talked about having depression and stuff. I mean, I have depression.
Mm.
But I think that, and I'm not saying him, but I think there are
In
a lot
general,
of people online, and this is a huge issue, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not really their fault, but
no,
people with mental illness, it is harder to type, like extreme
yeah,
mental illnesses, it is harder to type them. And some people also get those are the people a lot of the times that are getting upset on the forums or saying false information. Unless they're an ENTP, they're probably ENTPs.
that
A lot of
that's
ENTPs are trolls, but
that's actually a really good point. Some people are trolling for the sake of trolling, and there are other people who do have things like that, and because of that, their cognitive ways of doing things are going to be, up and down. So, as I said before, as much as you can judge a person, a topic, whatever, you don't know the reality of what they're having to deal with. So at the end of the day, it's all just observations until you really see what the reality is. And at the end of the day, if people are toxic and they're aware of it, oh, stay clear of them. This is again why both of us are mods now in the main INFJ group to make sure that's decreased. You can hate me if you want that I'm getting rid of a lot of you guys if you're toxic, but I'm doing it for a good reason. But
oh, for people, sorry if you don't know, he's talking about an INFJ group on Facebook. And as far as forums go, there's many forums. There's a lot of like MBTI sites and stuff. I just kind of steer clear of most of those. The little forums that are like, oh,
yeah,
what type is this celebrity or something? Like a lot of people on there is just misinformation and stuff.
yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
he's talking about. I believe there's over 30,000 people on this
Yeah,
forum.
it's the biggest one, I think. This
Yeah.
is why we've both been asked to be mods because we used to be part of it quite a long time ago, and now we've been asked to come back, which is refreshing and also fun because it's like a challenge to kind of just balance it out again, like it used to be 5 years ago. But yeah, it's just communication again, and as long as the communication, like what we said at the beginning of the video, communication, meeting people. And talking of meeting people, adding another member to the family on your side with the cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Claire's here, and Henry's obsessed. Sorry guys, like this is like the most unprofessional interview ever.
but like, but this is why it's fine because everything happens at the right time. Because some of the topics we're talking about can hit people quite hard because you're talking about masks, you're talking about ego, you're talking about you know depression and all these things, and a lot of people don't want to hear these things because they want to they want to it's just genuine aspects as well, and it's nice because like this it's natural, it's not formal, we're not wearing ties, the pets are getting involved, it's just being genuine. And yeah, it's like I feel like a storyteller going, have you figured out the moral of the story yet? Because that seems to be coming back again and again. But yeah, you know. uh, so, how are the questions, or how do you feel with it? Do you want to keep going, or
Yeah,
is
we
there
can
anything
still
that
go.
you wanted to discuss? Yeah, I'm free, so
Okay, so just to address this, Yeah, okay, this is just random, but I would never
Okay.
get a rabbit or any kind of rodent. That rabbit would be killed by all
Yeah.
three of them. Pumpkin used to catch when Pumpkin in his heyday used to catch birds in the air. Um, and he
Really?
used to like kill animals all like we would have like at least 5 or 6 animals in the yard that he had killed. And my old dog Coco used to skin rabbits that Pumpkin
Oh,
would kill. Or like, so Henry is a crazy little boy. He would definitely do something to the rabbit. And so would probably Fleur and Pumpkin. But
oh.
yeah.
One thing. Again, I don't want to like stereotype the INFJ, seeing as we're talking about INFJ. Um, it seems to be, and again, I don't want to stereotype it, and I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying that this is by majority over the past 5 years of speaking to a huge variety of INFJ. Also, guys, if you guys haven't done what we're doing, spoken to INFJs online, video or voice, um, there's a huge variety of INFJs, including sociopathic INFJs. I've met one. Um,
Yes.
I don't know if psychopaths can be INFJs, but again, everything exists, so I don't know that answer, but possibly. And there is basically sadistic INFJs. There's huge amounts of INFJs because you are your type, but you are also your experiences and everything like that. So you can have preferences, and you can also have other things as well layered on top of you. Um, Going back, it's always as INFJs we expand, but then you have to kind of retrack and go back to the core of what you're trying to say. So going back to what I was saying, um, I feel, and this is something I've noticed with a lot of INFJs, is that INFJs are very cat orientated. I know INFJs have dogs, and I know there are INFJs who just have dogs, but I think because maybe it's connected to dogs are quite extroverted and loud and energetic. As introverts, we want to click more with a kind of like chilled, introverted type of energy. As someone who has cats and dogs, I'm sure you have a different opinion to that. But I was curious seeing as we're on the topic of pets, how you feel with that. Do you feel that that rings true?
I could definitely see that. I do know a few INFJs that do prefer dogs. Actually, I would say um, that I'm a both person, but that's because
Hmm.
I grew up with both cats and dogs my whole life. Um, so it's hard for me to say I only like cats or something, but I can definitely see that.
Yeah,
Well, especially Pumpkin. We've talked about Pumpkin so many times on my channel, but Pumpkin is just a legend. Which oh, Pumpkin.
I think Pumpkin is the only one that's not been in the video, so we might as well
Yeah,
add
let me
him
get him.
to the video. Is this is the last of your pets, isn't it? That hasn't been on the video.
No, he's. I mean, not today, but he's always on the video.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, Pumpkin just turned 16, so he's
oh.
an old boy.
He's got this air of regality with him. He's very kind
Yeah,
of
he's
like
an he. I mean, I know some people. I've talked about this too, but Pumpkin's an ENFJ.
I think
I know.
no, I used to not believe that, but now I have a dog of my own. I actually do feel that because animals have personalities, so I am now more open to the aspect that rings true also in animals because animals themselves have a personality. Just go to the zoo, you can see that even within penguins, there are so many different personalities, like serious ones, playful ones. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
By the way,
very,
I don't know
very
if it's
chill.
picking up on the microphone, but Pumpkin was growling at Henry. Um, yeah. Going back to this, you were talking about um, just how
Yeah.
INFJs. There's so many. I mean, there's so many different types of INFJs in the sense that
Oh,
there are
huge variety.
sociopaths. Yeah, that's something that I think people really should know is like um, there are I mean, any type there is good and bad. And actually, if you go on celebritytypes.com, which I think it's IDR Labs now, um,
Okay. Oh yeah, that's changed now. Yeah.
it has the most like bad people on for INFJs.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. But yeah, you're right. And as much as people idealize INFJ, it goes to show everyone is human. At the end of the day, everyone is capable of good and bad. It's completely your choice, you know. Always aim to do good. That would be the suggestion, obviously. But, you know, I think, and I've met, I don't know about yourself, Emily, but for myself, I've met a lot of INFJs for the past 5 years. I think it's getting 6 years now. I've lost count. It's been so long. But I've met INFJs online and offline. And I've also met people in real life who straight away we don't like you know how we're talking now, it's level. It's like we're on the same level, we're keeping up with each other. The pattern of us speaking is level. You know, we're keeping up with the topics, and when we make a leap, we're there. I've met people who thought that they were INFJ and we didn't have the same rhythm and the same pattern in terms of thinking and speaking. And because of that, it's not synchronized. You think, oh, and you feel, this is not, I'm not connecting with this person. And I would say if you're meeting an INFJ in real life or speaking to them online, that is a kind of a clue. And as well as that, meeting a lot of INFJ on offline as well, huge variety. I never thought that you could be sadistic in an INFJ because that seems contradictory. But INFJ is a contradiction anyway. It's an enigma. So why not? Because everything exists to some degree, you know? So it blows your mind when you see a contradiction within a contradiction, but that it can exist also, you know? So everyone is different, you know, because again, how you grow up and coughing up hairballs, as you can hear in the background with the cat.
No,
And
that wasn't. That's Henry. That's not. That's not a cat.
oh, okay, it sounded like a hairball cough up.
Nope, it was Henry. And by the way,
Um,
Henry,
yeah.
Pumpkin is not jealous of Henry. So
Oh, is that in the is that in the
I saw
comments?
that in the comments.
Okay, okay, I had a
Actually,
feeling that was.
Henry is more jealous than of Pumpkin.
Where
Anytime I'm sitting with Pumpkin or one of the cats, Henry will come and want to be the center of attention. Also,
where is the comment section? I'm on my phone. I have no idea where the comment section is. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll look at it
you
later.
have to go on to YouTube, and it
Oh, okay,
sucks
that's
because
why.
afterwards, you can't comment. Like, I mean, you can comment in the comment section, but not on the chat.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment in the section. I'm joking. I'm doing the classic. I the thing about just going back a little bit because obviously people are going to leave or have been leaving comments while we're chatting, so I'll just continue a little bit. There's a huge variety of people, but at the end of the day, INFJs and think and function in the same way. But that doesn't mean that all INFJs share the same morals. And that's a big thing I learned. That's a big thing I learned, is that somebody can be an INFJ and you can be very good friends with them. And for example, I have met INFJs who are sociopathic or sadistic, and they have a different set of morals. And because they're different to yours, as much as you think and function in the same way because you're both INFJ, you don't click with each other because you have different morals, which is the whole basis of your being. So even within INFJs, as much as you think and do everything in a similar way, the very fact that you can meet another INFJ with different morals will already mean you're not probably going to click as much as you want to. You both get each other, you both respect each other, but you won't click because your morals are different. And that's been an important lesson for me with friendships and, you know, relationships, all that stuff. We'll see what happens, you know. Everything happens at the right time. So is that if you're with a partner, whatever type, because type doesn't matter, it's who you click with, a suggestion would be find someone who has the same morals as you because that person will be reflecting love and morals back at you in a way that you get it and it feels like home. But if someone has a different set of morals to you and you're in a relationship with them, it's always going to be conflicting. As much as you could be both INFJs, it will still be conflicting because you have opposing morals, and that doesn't feel like home. It doesn't feel normal and comfortable, you know? So perhaps, again, I always suggest, I never tell people what to do because love doesn't control. I would suggest find somebody who has the same morals as you, whether they're friends or a potential partner, and it will just, everything will be so much easier,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, that's what I was saying. I don't know if you watched this video, but I was saying that in the dating video. At the end of the day, it does matter what kind of values and morals what someone has. I've talked about this in my ENFJ video. I love ENFJs, but there's a guy. I'm not going to go into too many specifics
There's
just
there's a
because.
guy that I like, and no,
No, no, no,
no,
no. I don't. I
I'm
don't.
joking. I'm joking. I'm being cliche.
No, I don't like him. But
Okay.
we used to be really good friends, and he's an ENFJ. But he is a sociopath, hands down. He is a sociopath. I
This
well,
is
if
this is such an important topic because I met an INFJ
yes,
sociopath with there's a contradiction. So please talk about it if you have something to share. Oh,
um,
you're
oh,
reading comments.
someone, yeah, sorry. I love INFPs. Hey guys. If you're an INFP, I do love you. Um, but again, it depends on the morals of the person. But yeah, the ENFJ guy that I was friends with, the way I found out that he was a sociopath, well, I'm not going to again go into too much because I actually had a restraining order against him.
Oh, okay.
But he actually was my roommate. And my sister and I, who's an ISTJ, we basically, after 2 weeks of living with him, we just kind of realized that he was a sociopath. Um, and then it kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but but yeah,
Well,
as it's saying in the comments, all types are there are good and evil of each type, and you're not going to
oh
like
yeah.
everybody.
Oh, yes, it's true. And I wanted to share something with an INFJ sociopath. I will sh
Okay.
because obviously if it helps somebody, why not? You know. Um, I don't know if this is the thing that you've noticed about sociopaths. I've only met one, so I'm sharing this also to get more information from your experience and also to share it. It's kind of like a two-way thing. It's pretty much what INFJs are. They do two things at once. Um, is that he thought and functioned in the same way as me, but it lacked emotion. And it seemed calculated and planned and forced, and it seemed like I don't know. He would say something like, "I'm your friend. I support you," but there was no emotion there. But he's saying the right things, and because of that, it's really hard to read because it's neutral. Because there is no emotion behind what is said. He can say anything, and it would be neutral. And because of that, it's so hard to read because it lacks emotion. And he could be saying something to you in a negative way, which has a hidden meaning, but because it's neutral, you don't know. And this is something I've written also in the book that I'm writing. I'm going to be well, I don't like self promotion, but it's just reminded me because I'm
Just
writing it.
promote yourself. Don't even like nobody. Everybody wants to hear it. So people are saying in the
I'm
comments how much they agree with you and how much they like you.
oh, thanks guys. As long as yeah, God, making me self conscious. All right, I'm publishing a book soon, under my real name. It will be called Amor Vincit Omnia, which means in Latin, love conquers all. And I guess I'll post it in the INFJ groups when it's done, and it will be on Amazon if you want to buy it. But basically, it's about growing up and things like these sociopath experience and stuff like that. And if you're interested, it might be worth looking into. So going back, because I'm currently writing it, and it reminded me. Um, look up on the internet ENF. Sorry, empaths. Why am I saying ENF? Empaths. That's the part. Yeah, it's the part of the brain that we have. Um, Empathetic relationships with sociopaths. Look that up on Google. Empathetic relationships with psychopaths, and it will give you a synopsis and an idea of things to be careful about, red flags, and all that kind of stuff. But knowing a sociopath, they lack emotion. And because of that, they can go under the radar with anything. And they're so dangerous. And I wrote in the book, this goes for anyone. There are three types of people in the world. Good people, which I call white. This has got nothing to do with race, so don't make this a race thing. But yeah. I know. Oh, I'm racist. I'm a racist. No, I'm not. I'm joking. Um, it's to do with energy. So, good people.
The half
good
Filipino
people.
racist. You're
I'm already
disregarding that half of you.
I'm a half caste, so I can't even speak. But anyway.
Yeah, let me speak. I'm just kidding.
There are good people who are like white in energy. There are grey people who are in the middle, and there are negative people who are dark, black kind of energy. And you would think that the dark people, the negative people, would be the ones to be careful of. No, the ones in the middle. Because white is really easy to see. You can see when somebody's good. Black is also really easy to see. It's really obvious when somebody is a bad person and negative. But grey, there are 50 shades of grey. And they're neither white or black. I'm not referring to that. I'm not,
no, it's this is that kind of book, isn't it?
No, I'm not talking about that. It's a kinky book. You got to read it. No, okay. Yeah. Okay, sorry, but I mean it in terms of the color spectrum. There is pure white, there is pure black, and there are shades of grey in between. And the grey in between is neither black or white. So it's so hard to see. This is also in scripture. It's also known as the false light. Anyone who's grey, they're normally just normal people, right? Who aren't good or bad, they're just kind of normal. But the thing is, you can be a bad person and put on the mask of being normal. So somebody can pretend to be a grey person when they're black by putting on a mask. So, oh, I'm normal, and then they will stab you, metaphorically, and then they'll be normal again, and you'll be like, what happened? And because they're hiding within the grey, you can't see them. So you have to be so careful of people who are in the grey area. That's what grey area is also a metaphor in itself. When somebody's in a grey area, it's unsure. So always be careful of that. If you're unsure of someone and you can't tell if their alignment is good or bad, that's to be even more careful because they're not obvious, And that's from experience. That's from knowing an INFJ sociopath, and he was grey, and he was bad because he put on the mask of being normal, and I found out the hard way, and it was painful and taught me a lot. And as long as you can always pick yourself back up and learn from your experiences, you never lose because you only gain and you become more and stronger, And INFJ went. My voice is breaking because we've been speaking. I'm going. It's a second puberty. INFJ Wences is great for that.
Yes.
And I don't know if Michael Pierce. Is it Michael Pierce? Am I correct with that? Michael Pierce is also, I assume, very good at that as well. And it's just strengthening your weaknesses. And if you can strengthen your weaknesses, then you have yourself, Also, there might be something higher, but that's a whole different story for another time.
People did want to know your spirituality. Sorry, I said that weird. Or just maybe if you're comfortable talking about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Basically, long story short, I write this in the book, so if you're interested to find out more, all of this will be written in the book. I'm in the middle of something. If it's not important, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it later.
Oh, by the way, my mom might walk in at any moment. She was on a date, so
Okay,
hopefully she
thank you.
doesn't walk in.
Okay, take care. Bye. Oh, your mum's gonna come in as well.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. If she's
We might
out,
have a
if she's
surprise
about to come
appearance
in,
since we're
just
right near the
if,
front door.
uh, and and our new guest welcoming.
And Denise! I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, spirituality. Um, I was baptized Christian. Basically, long story short, the church pushed me away because I didn't feel it in a heartfelt way. But I remained agnostic for the rest of my life, and I went into New Age and all that kind of stuff. And basically, I even delved into the occult very briefly. And long story short, I had a bad experience and I ended up in hospital. And then soon after that, I had an experience with the big guy. That will be all in the book. And since then, I have gone back into the biblical aspect of things. And I'm not saying that's right and wrong and all that kind of stuff, but again, because of having the experience with the dark and then the supernatural experience of, you know, him, yeah, I can't lie to myself on that anymore. And all I can do is share that. And I won't go into that because some people are quite sensitive about that. But I just have to be honest. Now, that'll be in the book as well, if you really want to know the full story, which I guess is kind of like a tease into the
Yeah,
book. Yeah,
that was a good.
going, oh, maybe there'll be more. Maybe there'll be more. Yeah. And really because of that experience and having that experience with him, this is why I'm here in the Philippines doing the Divine Sanctuary. So if that clicks with anyone in a heartfelt way, that's something perhaps to get into contact me with, or have a look at the Divine Sanctuary on Facebook or the book later. Anyway, the right people can click with it, so it doesn't matter. That's it. That really, I'm glossing over very casually something that is not is very deep. It's very deep and
Yeah.
a very crazy supernatural experience. So yeah, maybe read the book. Yeah.
No, you should definitely read the book. I want to read the book. Um, I wanted to know, do you guys have any questions in the comments or the little messaging thing for him? Let's see if we get any questions for you.
What shampoo do you use?
Yeah. How do you get
I
your
use
luscious
I,
hair?
I use Head and Shoulders and no, sorry. Head and Shoulders is good actually though.
I'm not seeing any questions yet, but
It's
maybe
okay.
there'll be some questions. Yeah, we talked about a lot in this. I feel like
Oh
I
yeah.
don't.
It's just
I hope
normal.
nobody
When
gets upset. But
people will. People always get
yeah,
upset over about anything. We could talk about the color like the color white for a whole subject, and people will find an issue about it. There's always critics. It's with anything. So again, because no one is perfect and everyone has an opinion, they're allowed to because we have our own opinions too. It's part of being human. So
okay. So sorry. Uh, they wanted to know. I think they didn't hear you earlier, but
ah,
while you're in the Philippines, would you like to just like briefly state again why you're in the
oh,
Philippines?
okay. So when I was 18 years old, I came here because my family is here. I'm half Filipino, half British, and I never planned to come here really. We have a large family land which is 48 hectares, and I visited it for the first time and saw a huge potential and it could help a lot of people. Like live there, work there, visit there, whatever. And they weren't using it. It was just empty land. And I felt that this was what I needed to do. So at age 18, I went into landscape architecture in college. I studied that for 4 years. And then my plan was to then go to Canada to work, be a landscape architect, have a normal job, pay taxes, find, you know, get a girlfriend, have kids, all the normal stuff. But before that happened, I played the occult, and I ended up in hospital because I did something I wasn't supposed to, and I didn't know it was real, and I thought it was all fairy tales, and I'm glossing over it, obviously. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I was completely innocent in it, basically. Be careful with it, guys. That's all I'm going to say. And when I was in hospital, I was spoken to by him, and God, like, yeah, that's what it is. Uh, yeah. So because of that experience, I was spoken to and reminded of the project before. And because I can't deny that, I had a huge fight between my brain and my heart because my brain was saying Canada and my heart was saying, well, you've had that experience. And like a magnet, my heart was pulling me towards the Philippines to do the project. And I was a broke student. I have no money. And if you have a look at the Divine Sanctuary on Facebook, you will see it for yourself. That I've done that because everything has been provided. And there is no logic there. And basically I'm doing it to help people. I'm doing it so that people can be free, they can work there, they can possibly live there and visit there in the future. And because it is a ecotourism spiritual retreat, I know that that is very much up the INFJ alley. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's why I'm here. I gave up everything to come here because I was shown what will happen. And everything is slowly falling into place. And it makes me think and understand maybe that experience wasn't just me thinking too much. So we'll see, and that's all I'm going to say because I could go so much deeper into that. And I've lost friends telling them the full story. But the ones who have stayed, I love them because it's the truth. And as crazy as that experience was, I can't deny it, you know?
Yeah.
So there will be more in the book, and obviously it's very sensitive. And I will say it's not about religion. God is not about religion. And again, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just sharing that from my experience. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying God is God. That's it. It's not about religion. That's it. And
Yeah.
that's just an opinion too, and you're allowed to be against me with that because there's always a critic. So, you know. Oh, how dare you? Yeah, okay, whatever. I like red, you like blue. Everyone has an opinion. But yeah, I have to share that because that's what happened, and that's why I'm here. And I think what will be really nice is it will be a place for a lot of INFJs to be part of if they want to be part of it, and it's just helping them to do what they enjoy, paying them to do what they enjoy, and also escaping the system which is made to control you and to make you a number. And it's not like a cult or anything like that. It will be an official place with, a kind of business, but it's not about that, you know. I have to say that as well because there's always people who will jump to conclusions with things, So
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. I can say more, but I won't because it'll just be too much after then.
Okay, so we actually have a few questions. Sorry. Um, do you want me to just say what the questions are? Or do you want me to say
Yeah, that
one
that would
by
be
one?
lovely because just do what you feel because I can't see them. I'm on my phone. I don't know how to see them. That'd be
Okay, so
lovely.
the first question that we haven't answered is, or you haven't answered is, do you typically associate any personality functions with black, gray, or white?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, the next question is,
Um,
what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
oh, that's
And
nice,
then
simple.
I'll just let you answer those two questions, and then I'll go on to the
Okay,
next
okay.
question.
So basically, I would not associate. Oh God, that's a really interesting question. I wouldn't really associate gray people with. The thing about gray people is that there's absence there. There's no absence of good or bad, and because good and bad has more to do with your orient. Oh God, that's a really interesting question. I wouldn't be able to answer that question. I would say it comes down to the person because you could have all of your functions running at their best or at their worst and still choose to be good or bad. So I would say it's not really anything to do with function, it's more so to do with orientation because you could be like really at your best or really at your worst and still choose to do good and bad or bad. So that's all I can really say. It's a really good question there. And another good question. Oh God, ice cream. I have a sweet tooth, so basically chocolate toffee, choc chocolate mint, that kind of thing, like really kind of sweet things like that. Yeah.
I'm also a chocolate person too. I love
Oh,
just anything
lovely.
chocolate. But
Chocoholic.
yes. Let's see. Um, so we got a question. I want to know how you would suggest I investigate the truth behind the occult without putting myself in danger.
Oh, okay, good question. If it feels wrong, that's such a good question because I went into the tarot, crystals, all this kind of stuff. Be careful, obviously, and if it feels wrong in a heartfelt way, don't go into it. I touch the surface with it. Do your research first. Kind of, if you're going into something new, dip your feet into it ever so slightly, and yeah, just go slowly with it. Don't jump straight into it. And if it feels wrong, or it feels that maybe this isn't the highest point, put that to one side. And I would suggest this for anyone. Always be open mentally and in a heartfelt way to what is really true. Because you might be into tarot cards or crystals or yoga or whatever, and you think this is the highest point, right? What happens if you're wrong? What happens if there's more? And always be open, because if you're limiting yourself, you're being biased because maybe there's something more which is even better, you know? And maybe in a year's time, 2 years' time, that would just be a tiny stepping stone in comparison to what the bigger picture is, you know? So whatever you delve in, be careful. Take it slowly. If it feels wrong, don't do it. It means it's wrong intuitively. Something I mentioned at the beginning of the video, listening to your heart. And always be open to the fact that nobody's perfect, including myself and yourself. And what happens if you're wrong? And that your idea of this is the highest point, there's another step. Always be open to that. And, you know, be open and you shall receive. And that's a thing also. That goes for anything. So that's it.
No, I definitely agree with that. Um, sorry, I'm eating
I
the
wish
rest
I
of
could have
these.
some. It's okay. I
Sorry.
can't.
Yeah, let me continue eating them.
Throw
So
it, throw it. I'll catch
it's kind
it.
of
That'll
burnt.
be like,
But
uh, got
here.
it. Oh, you still got it. Okay. Um.
Let me see. Oh, this is a good question. Um, how on earth does a 24-year-old have such a tremendous perspective?
Oh God. Okay. Um. This is in the book I'll be writing. Also, I'm not perfect. I'm not wise. I've just been through a lot of crap, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And age does not define you because you can be an 80-year-old. You could be an 80-year-old who's like a child. Some of my
Yeah.
aunties and uncles are, and you can be young like myself. That's a bit immodest, but as an example, and have had a lot of experience. And because you're speaking from experience, they're not ideas. So you embody what you say because you've experienced it to know it's true. So the more experience you have, the more mature you become because you realize what's reality. You know, otherwise you're just clinging to ideas, and ideas are either true or false. So experience is really the answer. But I'll share one thing with you, and this is in the book, and this is just a small thing of many things. I used to be a lucid dreamer when I was young, and if any of you have watched the movie Inception, I used to go into layers of sleep when I was young. I used to sleep within a dream, which would then distort time, and then I went to sleep again into a dream. And when I woke up, it felt like I was asleep for a week when I was asleep for 8 hours. That's an inception also. I'm so glad that that exists because I can use that as an example. That's something I did when I was young, when I was 10 years old. And basically, long story short, I did it 4 times. And I kind of, I don't know what I did. It was very dangerous, and I accelerated myself in some way because I hit my unconscious. And I was asleep for 8 hours, but I had a dream which lasted a lifetime. And I experienced, you know, having a job. I experienced marriage. I experienced all of these things as if they were real, but they weren't. I had kids, all these things. And maybe you can say that's the old soul aspect coming out, but it's because I did that and I had all these experiences where I hit my unconscious at the age of 10, I became an old man before my age. I messed myself up in a way because I touched the unconscious part of myself, which you're not supposed to. Um, so because of that, I speak with a lot of experience and authority from things which I haven't fully experienced yet. And how can I say that I've experienced them, but in a way I have? Do you see what I mean? That's a contradiction. And that's just a small example of one of the things. But since then, in a physical way, I did rugby, I played an instrument, I did survival training. I exposed myself to a lot of real life experiences also, where by having constant experiences, you become stronger mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And if you can become strong in all four of those, what is it? What is it? There's a quote that if it's not about being a man, it's for anyone. But the quote is, "One man who's conquered himself is stronger than 100 men who haven't." The quote is just, it's not perfect, but it's a bit like that. If you can overcome yourself and be the strongest version of yourself in every single aspect, that's growth. And to grow is to mature, isn't it? So experience, experience, experience. This is something I was saying to Emily the other day. She's a very driven person, and I really can recognize and also say I am proud of what she does because she puts herself out there and she travels a lot. She does things on her own. She travels on her own. And when you put yourself out of your comfort zone, just like I've done coming to the Philippines, that is when you really grow. And here's the very beautiful thing. As scary as it might be to do something you've never done before, however big or small, you can always go back into your comfort zone. Try it. If it doesn't work and you're scared, go back. But if without trying something and going out of your comfort zone, you can never be more than you are now. But if you push yourself out of that comfort zone in a year's time, you'll be even more than what you were a year in the past if you didn't try. Do you see what I mean? The act of actually putting yourself out there is what really makes you grow. And I have aunties and uncles who have just sat at home, not done anything, think that they know everything, and they're all ideas, and they're kids. So the more experience that you have, the better, you know. It's in the book also, Flip Me, and anyway.
No, I
Yep.
mean, obviously, I think anybody that's watching right now in real time is very interested in what you're saying, and I appreciate that you think that you like what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But
because it takes one to know one. When you really put yourself out there and you're very individual and you grow yourself in every way and you're doing it on your own, it's a big kudos to you because it's like, I know it's not easy, but that's how you really truly mature, you know?
yeah, I think I mean, this is something that I kind of struggle with, not so much with like friends in person, but especially on the channel. I want to definitely come across a little bit more direct, but I definitely can struggle with having an authoritative voice about things. Not in like a, I mean, in kind of the way that you talk about things. And
Yeah.
even though I feel very confident with them, I don't want, I don't want to be like,
You
I don't know.
it's
I guess I
it's
should just
it's
trust
it's
it.
it's hitting people's egos because you can speak with authority because you understand something from experience, and then they can be like, well, I'm older than you. How can you know more than me because I know everything? And you're hitting people's egos, you know? And it's not about age because everyone can learn from each other, you know?
Yeah.
But you can get some childish adults who are 40 going, oh, what are they talking about? They're younger than me. At their age, I never knew that. Well, we're not you. I'm not you. I'm a different person. So it's like, who are you to judge that? And you know, everyone should learn from each other. Uh, you know, oh God, it's like people use that age thing as a crutch, and it's so immature, which is
Oh
ironic
yeah.
because which is ironic, isn't it? Because they're older and yet they're immature about it. You know, and it's not to say that we know everything. We don't, but we're just sharing something which we've experienced. And then you have closed-minded people who think that they know everything and then think they're perfect and think that they're God or something, you know, and it's no one's perfect. It's ego. Ugh.
Here's a question. Do you know anything about native Filipino paganism?
Oh, very slightly, very slightly. Like there were tribes before, and the Spanish colonized this place to become very biblically orientated. You see that I don't use the word Christian because Christian is a religion and it's not about religion. So I'll say biblically orientated. And it's something I'd be interested in because there are tribes here, just like the Aborigines in Africa. There are tribes here, which were here before. So there is an aspect of shamanism here in some places, and this place is a bit like Thailand, is a bit like Hawaii. It's very high frequency, clean energy, high vibrational stuff here. Basically, it's very high spirit. So because of that, there are quite a lot of interesting things that happen because it's more in nature. And yeah, there is that stuff exists here basically, and it's something I'd be looking into more. But again, like everything, just be a bit careful with that if that's something that you're looking in and researching, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that that place probably goes everywhere because there's tribes everywhere. Even in England, there used to be the Vikings and things, which is kind of a bit tribal, you know? So, yeah.
I feel like this this live stream has said we've said a lot. Well, it's like
But you see, when for me, when I speak to people, but again, it just goes to show when you click with someone, you can talk forever, and it will feel like not that long. It's probably been like an hour or 2 hours at this point. I don't know. This is normal. This is normal for me. I've been doing this for 5 years, which is lovely because it goes to show. Imagine, Emily. Well, you know this anyway, but I'm saying this really for the audience. Most people just say, "Oh, the weather's nice. Oh, this chicken for breakfast tastes nice. Oh, oh, did your team win the game yesterday? Yeah, great. You know, it's like, look at all the topics you're missing out on.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
yeah.
I
And you
definitely
see, when you talk about deep topics, you can just keep going because one connects to the other, and it's all about making connections. Which brings back to the beginning of this video, which is people go into INFJ to make connections and learn things and meet people. You know,
yeah.
it's always bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. I forget what movie that's from.
I don't know either. I
Someone
feel
will
like
probably just. That's a reference or something. I don't know. Yeah, what were you
yeah,
gonna say?
maybe someone would know. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I said this a lot in Nolan's interview. I don't know what else to ask you actually at the moment.
Okay,
Um,
maybe that. But there's nothing that needs to be said because a lot's being said. You know, we've covered a lot
yeah,
really, and when you. It's just a thing I wanted to share with you guys also. When you allow life to happen, when you don't plan things and you just let it flow, it works out. Rather than we're going to talk about this, and this. We actually did plan it a bit, but then it just ended up going flowing, you know, like a river,
yeah,
metaphorically. It's when things are natural is when you know it's real, because it's a reflection of nature, which is natural. So, and also possibly a reflection of something higher, but I won't say any more than that. But, you know, yeah, we've talked about it a lot, and it's been really fun. And it's nice because your mum has not come back, and it's been
Yeah.
just in time. And again, everything happens at the right time. And also, the pets can get involved as well, which makes it a bit less serious, because some of these topics are quite deep for some people, which is
Yeah.
nice, you know?
And if you were, if you've been called out in this video, um, we don't mean any hate. Um,
Yes, it's all. I know I've given opinions as well, and everyone's allowed to have an opinion. And I'm not saying I'm true or false. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong with anything that I've said. All I'm doing is just saying it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Because at the end of the day, an idea is true or false. And it's always best to see the reality. So who am I to judge? But I am a judger, so that's what I do. So, yeah, that's it. Oh, it's been a pleasure speaking. I have a feeling this will be very valuable for a lot of people. Please post this on the forums, because I'm sure it will click with a lot of people, you know? I'm sure that you
yeah.
will, anyway.
Well, I'll post it. I'll post it on my Facebook, and I'll post it on the INFJ page on Facebook as well. And if we wanna post it somewhere else, just let me know. So.
Hmm. I think what I will do also is I will probably rip this off YouTube and then I'll upload it on my channel, not to claim it as my own, but also to share it so that it hits more people. Because
Yeah.
this is great, because this is pure INFJ, this conversation, just everything, the way, just speaking to each other, the topics, the flowing. We're both keeping up with each other. I don't have to say anything. It is what it is. But detaching from it and seeing it from a detached point of view, like I'm floating, observing it, this is brilliant, because this is exactly what it is, and this is what it should be, rather than, oh, I'm rare, I'm special, which a lot of people seem to be doing now. It's not about that. It's about clicking with people, not thinking
Well,
that
it's
you're the
also
best and
about
you're rare.
knowing about yourself and being able to develop yourself in the most positive way.
Yeah. And if we get any backlash from this, uh, in any part of this, because we've talked about a lot of topics, I'm not focusing on any one specifically, because there's loads of things. And there's always going to be backlash, because people will always agree with you or disagree with you. So if there's backlash, no problem. I welcome it, because you're allowed to have your opinion. I give you permission for that. So, no problem. And yeah, that's it. I don't say it just from me, and it's not about me. I'm saying it for both of us, that no problem. Always know that you can talk about something without being offended by it, because essentially all we're doing is just talking. We're not here to say we're right and wrong, we're just having a discussion. And that's it. And that's what life's about. Life's about talking, not about just, oh, how are you? Oh, yeah, the weather's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this chicken tastes nice. It's not about that. You imagine doing that for 100 years. What's life?
Well, I mean, there
You
are
know?
people that do enjoy that, and actually, this is really the main
Which
reason
isn't
why I did
which isn't
TikTok.
wrong. Which isn't wrong. But also
Yeah.
understand that, look at all the topics that we've talked about that you might be missing, and they're really interesting subjects, even if you might not understand them. Life has so much in it. Why talk about the same thing again and again? You know. Anyway, it's up to you. It's always down to the person. We're not here to tell you what to do. Just open your eyes and mind and heart, and that's it, really.
Yeah. Well, I
Brilliant.
hope that. I mean, we're definitely gonna have another conversation on this channel eventually.
Yes.
I don't know when. Probably several. Um, because
It
we
will
do
probably
talk
be
quite a bit.
we talk a lot, but it'll probably be a while from now, because I'm quite busy with the project.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll set it up and just have a chat, just
And I
like we have
am gonna.
what we had today.
I contacted Lenses, and I'm going to have Lenses on the channel, which is really
Oh,
awesome.
lovely, lovely. That'll be good exposure for a lot of people also. And also, I don't know if it's possible that it'd be nice to have a three-way chat as well. Um,
Yeah. Um, we'll definitely. I mean, once I do the interview with her, we'll set something up because I would love to do that. She's someone I really look up to. Um,
Oh yeah, same. Because oh yeah, it's just yeah, it's when you click with something or someone, you really click with it. So yeah, I get you.
yeah,
And Michael
but
Pierce. I haven't actually looked up Michael Pierce, but let's not forget him too.
you should. You should. He's not as consistent with his uploads. Lindsay's is definitely very consistent with her uploads, but um, he has some really good overviews about the types. He goes in a little bit into socionics. Lindsay's okay, guys. As you know, I've talked about socionics so much on this channel. If you want an introduction, or at least know a little about socionics, I would check out. There's a video on Michael Pierce's channel about socionics, but also Wences has so many videos about socionics that are just amazing. So
Mm. Like, share, and subscribe. Please share this video and comment in the section below. I'm just saying that as a cliche. I'm not saying you can actually do that. That would also be nice. But
yeah.
yeah, because all YouTubers say that, so I have to like. Okay, brilliant.
All
Well, I
right.
think that wraps it up. And just in time,
Yeah,
your mum's probably going to come in at any second now. So
probably.
yeah,
So,
so
all
it's
right.
been a pleasure speaking, and thanks guys for listening, and bless you guys, and yeah,
Bye. All right.
bye.
I'm gonna end it.